Hello and welcome again to our Lent Reading series for 2023, considering the people who Jesus encountered. Today, it's day 33. Yesterday, Jesus stood trial before the Jewish authorities. Today, he's before the Roman authorities, as we consider the governor, Pontius Pilate. Pontius Pilate was governor of the Roman-occupied province of Judea from around 26 to 36 AD. Though a few coins with his head on and one stone inscription remain, little is known about his rule other than his involvement in the crucifixion of Jesus. His prominence is such that he gets a mention in the historic creeds when they say Jesus was crucified under Pontius Pilate. The account of his interaction with Jesus is found in Matthew 27, and we'll read from verse 11. Meanwhile, Jesus stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" "You have said so," Jesus replied. When he was accused by the chief priests and the elders, he gave no answer. Then Pilate asked him, "Don't you hear the testimony they are bringing against you?" But Jesus made no reply, not even to a single charge, to the great amazement of the governor. Now it was the governor's custom at the festival to release a prisoner chosen by the crowd. At that time there was a well-known prisoner whose name was Jesus Barabbas. So when the crowd had gathered, Pilate asked them, "Which one do you want me to release to you? Jesus Barabbas, or Jesus who is called the Messiah?" For he knew it was out of self-interest that they had handed Jesus over to him. While Pilate was sitting on the judge's seat, his wife sent him a message. "Don't have anything to do with that innocent man, for I have suffered a great deal today in a dream because of him." But the chief priests and the elders persuaded the crowd to ask for Barabbas and to have Jesus executed. "Which of the two do you want me to release to you?" asked the governor. "Barabbas," they answered. "What shall I do then with Jesus who is called the Messiah?" Pilate asked. They all answered, "Crucify him." "Why? What crime has he committed?" asked Pilate. But they shouted all the louder, "Crucify him." Then Pilate saw he was getting nowhere, but instead an uproar was starting. So he took water and washed his hands in front of the crowd. "I am innocent of this man's blood," he said. "It is your responsibility." Yesterday we saw Jesus standing before the Jewish priests. They concluded he'd blasphemed and was worthy of death. The problem for them, being under Roman rule, was that they had no authority to carry out such a sentence. The occupying Roman authorities were happy to let the Jews oversee matters concerning Jewish law, but there were restrictions. Only the Roman authorities could pass a death sentence. Though the priests declared Jesus worthy of death, they did not have the power to enforce the sentence, so they sent him to the governor. Pontius Pilate had been placed in charge of Judea by the Roman Emperor Tiberius. He asked Jesus, "Are you the king of the Jews?" which was probably the accusation that the priests had given to Pilate. They knew that an accusation of him being the Messiah would not carry much weight with Rome, but a title like King of the Jews had political connotations and was much more likely to get the result they wanted. That is probably why Jesus decides to say nothing further, because of the misleading connotations any response would bring. However, it seems from the passage that Pilate was not convinced of Jesus' guilt. During the proceedings, Pilate's wife sends a message to say that she had been warned in a dream that Jesus was innocent and have nothing to do with the trial. Due to his perceived reluctance to execute Jesus, the Ethiopian and Coptic churches claim that he later became a Christian and venerate him as both a martyr and a saint, but I don't think that is how the Gospels remember him. Pilate had the authority here. But despite believing Jesus to be innocent and God warning him through his wife's dream, Pilate still allows himself to be manipulated by the priests. He ends up abdicating responsibility by literally washing his hands of the case. Join me in praying that when the decision God is calling us to make is not popular with everyone, especially if we hesitate and God sends us a message to confirm it, that we don't let peer pressure, manipulation, or the desire to be popular to turn us from God's will. Pilate did, and for most of the church, history has not treated him kindly for it. Until next time, have a blessed day.